Hey, fellow fishermen, Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Land of the Vikings, Episode 3, Going Fishing. This is the place where you can build mines. Mines are located on the feet of the mountains. Iron and coal mines can be identified by their stone structures. So, it's color of the stone. Black stone is coal, and this sort of grayish, yellowish is iron. Woodshed is done. And woodshed will be, I'm going to set a limit to 100 firewood. It will be automatically worked by laborers. So as long as you have laborers, your laborers will take raw wood and cut it into firewood to keep houses warm for the winter. And because we are struggling to feed people, I'm preferring to do the time to go fishing over the wool production. So we're going to get a fishing hut and a shipyard up. And I'm going to pause the shipyard because the fishing hut's going to be more important. We already have 3 fishing boats waiting to be used. Farmers, 0. We're really not using the farm right now. We're in proper winter now. A question for you all. Should I move the farm and well? Yes or no? It is in the way of the coal mine, accidentally. So, do you think we should move it? Do you think we should leave it? Choice is yours. Oh, here is a house that doesn't have firewood. With that little exclamation mark. And this will also throw alerts. So if you have your alert screen open, you can see that certain houses are lacking firewood. We have 2 general laborers cutting firewood, but because I got the woodshed up so late in the season, we didn't have a healthy backlog of supplies to be able to offer them. I've got 11 laborers, 6 builders. 11 laborers should be pretty good. Is this a progressive version of Banished? Sure. I mean, it's its own game with a lot of other mechanics that are not introduced in Banished, but it's similar. It's in the same genre. Winter is coming. So this is just warning me that fields can't be planted, collected, and the crops die off, and fruits and herbs can't be collected either. The fishing hut, however, is done. I'll just put a lot of lucky fishermen in. So, in order to... here, let me hide the UI again. In order to properly staff the hut, we have to assign ships to it. So I'm going to assign the 3 fishing boats that we started with to the fishing hut, which allows us to hire more fishermen. And I'm going to hire 2 lucky ones and 2 smart ones to work the boats and feed us throughout the winter. You guys want me to move the farm and well, so I'll do that in a minute. But you guys have a choice here. So, we have got a social disagreement where a dagger has disappeared and one person is blaming the other about stealing it. We have the Gutthorm family and the Sven family. So I can either spend 25 silver and investigate the situation, which might cause additional follow-up events, but it does give me fame. I can blame the Sven family and kick them out of the village. Villagers would be happy, but fame would be lost. I could blame and execute Sven. Villagers would be happy, fame is lost, and the Sven family would be very unhappy with this situation, obviously. Or do not mess. Basically, just leave it alone, don't adjudicate this at all, and fame is lost, and all villagers would be unhappy. So this is one of those situations where you guys get to vote. Okay, we're going to investigate. So I spent 25 silver investigating the crime. Spaghetti, thank you for the sub. Y'all wanted the farm and well to be moved, so I will do that. We'll get a well up here, and then I'll put a farm around it. Unfortunately, I don't get refunded for the silver sunk into setting up the farm, so it's very costly to move those things, but you guys voted for it. The other thing that I was considering to do is to move the gatherers, because they were going to multiple elevation levels, which made very little sense. So what I could try to do is to, knowing that there's a stone mine over here, let's see, I could put a gatherer's hut, one here, and one here. And then a hunter in here as well. Because if they do go up to an elevation, it's a quick path. It's not like the long path like it was before. So I'm going to move the food collection from where it was over here in this coastal area. Maybe I'll make this coastal area like pretty. Okay, so we have another choice, a follow-up event. Everyone was having fun at the inn. They were singing and drinking, and then they were drunk as usual. There was, some dancing, and they noticed something falling over Asulf. Everyone suddenly fell silent and looked at Asulf. He dropped Gutthorn's dagger. He says, "Please forgive me, I need money. I was going to sell it in the market and pay off my debts. I beg you to forgive me." So, I can either kick him out of the village. So, Gutthorn and Sven are happy with the decision, but Asulf's family is obviously unhappy. I can make him pay compensation. I can torture him. Or I can forgive him. It looks like we're going to go with compensation. And I earn the silver, because I started the investigation, so, that investigation paid for itself. It won't always be like that. Sometimes it's a dead-end investigation. It's not always like, oh, you solved it. Good job. These gather sets, because they don't work in the winter anyway, I'm going to blow them up. I'm going to leave the road intact, however, mostly, up until this point. What I was going to do is maybe make this like a really fancy coastal housing, for the wealthy. Got to have a class war somewhere, right? So I'll leave that intact for the future. And one of those fire people are going to become a new miller. Get a little bit more bread. But the fish is coming in. As you can see, we have fish resource. and bread, so people are no longer hungry, and we did manage to cut some wood, some firewood, so no one's hungry and no one's cold. Morale still sucks. So one of the issues here is it feels cold. Yeah, it's winter, whatever. The village being very dark at night is something I could fix, so that is a complaint that I don't have pillar torches illuminating around their homes, which is obviously fairly solvable. Because these homes over here, you know, there's no light source at all. So I'll set up their pathing, then give them some light. I also want a street sign. You know, maybe I'll do a little flagpole here. I'll put it right in the middle. Oh, you know what? It would be even prettier if it was a gate, wouldn't it? Let's do a gateway. It's a gated community. Oh, I like it. And maybe a little wooden signal. Sweet. All right, the village is very dark at night. Should go away as I add illumination. So, yep, there it goes. It's already gone. So I think the way it works is, I'm actually not really sure how it's calculated. So take that back. So my current priority is going fishing. The shipyard is almost done. Unpause that. Well, not almost, but... Oh, for this we actually need dressed stone. So, I'm going to focus on rebuilding the farm and gathering. Because I am not ready to supply the dressed stone for the shipyard just yet. Plus, our fishing boats shouldn't require maintenance for a bit. They're not going to fall apart, like, overnight. But what I can do is to do the goat ranch to get the silver from the other objective. Because that will help me make a farm. So I will add... Trying to think where I want to put a goat ranch. I don't want to put it out front, right? Because this is sort of central. So maybe I'll have it over here. Just pretty bumpy back here. Yeah, so you can see that I'm not able to expand the area exactly where I would like. That's not bad. And a little reminder, I do intend to demolish these homes. I'm going to have them laid out more aesthetically, less grid-like soon. I also see that some people are homeless, so I get some additional homes. So I'll have another like micro burrow around here. And I don't want it pushed too far into where the well is, because that's where the farm is going to go. So the people here might work at the market or the farms. But I'll select the smaller housing. There's like 3 houses initially. There's this bad house, which is smaller. And then the other 2, which are larger footprint. People are struggling to keep the stone flowing. We're using stone just as fast as we obtain it. Despite the fact that I have 12 laborers doing it. Maybe we'll do 1 fewer warehouse worker and 1 fewer miller. At this point, we probably... Yeah, we're out of wheat, so I'll fire the other miller. These buildings definitely didn't get built. So one nice thing about winter is you can actually see the desire path where people have trotted where the snow is. So I can see how people want to walk to that area, for instance, just by the by where snow is missing on the ground, which is kind of nice. All right. We are definitely heading towards spring. I like how it's throwing errors, and I'm just like, oh, that's nice. I'm just ignoring your errors. No, it's going. It's too big. Still too big? Man, I'm too ambitious. There we go. I'd like to have a road going in the back of the farm to gain access to this upper plateau area. Oh, nice. This house got built. And I have 0 silver, so yeah. Never mind. Not building that road just yet. Used all of my silver on that farm. Making the hunting lodge the priority, knowing that the gatherers' huts won't work in the winter anyway. But we can start hunting for leathers and meats. A lot of deer everywhere. Someone buy something from my market. I want a builder. Oh, there we go. All right, yeah, that farm is covered by the well. That worked out. Stone is good. Time to process it. Well, I am focusing on what you see at the top right, on the farm and the gathering first, and then I will do that. So, hunters. There we go. They have a mix of luck and strength for hunting. So we got the hunting hut going, which will provide leather and meat. Leather can be used for tailoring, as well as the wool from the goat ranch. So the goat ranch is going to be next. And then once the goat ranch is done, I will then focus on dressing stones. I just wanted a little bit more silver because I want more road infrastructure to be able to build up the infrastructure for that next goal. So yeah, these fishing boats still have a few years in them, or at least many seasons left before they start to require maintenance, so it's less urgent. All right, we got a goat rancher. People that are fast and strong. There we go. And the ranch itself will have a maximum capacity of animals. When you exceed the maximum capacity, they'll start slaughtering them for meat and leathers. You can also choose to slaughter earlier if you have a food shortage. So if all of a sudden your food runs out, you can always just cull some of your animals. As long as there is animals on the ranch with the workers, they continue to breed. In ranches where maximum animals... Yeah, okay, it's just literally saying what I just told you guys. There we go, we got a ranch. And as soon as we get at least 10 wool, the wool production objective is going to be complete. I'll prioritize these 2 gathering huts because spring is maybe just about a day and change away, and I want to start collecting herbs and berries for that. We also have an immigration wave coming in about a day or so as well. Now, if you're wondering if it's going to be a problem that the farmer's out here, but the windmill's over there, not really, because it's simple enough to just walk over here to store the wheat. It's not that far that it's going to be penalizing or anything like that. Come on, trees. There we go. It is pretty, though. Especially that we're in, like, a mountain valley. Look at all those giant mountains around us. We're in a fjord or something. What it looks like. Alright. We have one of the 2 gathering huts up. And what I would like to do is to put houses maybe on... over here, like where the road will eventually be. So I'll run a road in between them. And these houses will serve as ranchers and gatherers and hunters. And they're close enough to the central marketplace that it is not a far trip. Choice. What do you guys feel? Are we admitting newcomers or not? We might have some free housing. Of course, I just put down some additional housing to be constructed. And then we have a decent amount of food stockpiled. We have 37 food in our marketplace stockpiled, so we're not running out. It looks like you guys want them to join. All right. That works for me. All right, let's take a look at the jobs here. Get a few more builders to laborers. That should be good. Now with spring around the corner, very soon I'm going to have the option to be able to plant the field, which will be good, planting as early as possible. So we can possibly do 2 harvests in a season. And then as soon as spring hits, we'll also have the ability to employ gatherers over at those huts. The plan for the stone cutter is to have it very close to the stone pit, which is why I was waiting on that, because I wanted to get the stone pit first. Or to get the roads towards the stone pit, I should say, first. How much wool have I obtained? 2 so far out of the 10 I need. All right, there's the gathering huts. Nice. Happiness has gone up a little bit, which is good. Get another warehouse person, because it seems like there's stone and wood kind of strewn about. It'd be good to get that stocked. Getting the gatherers hired. So, current product is... Well, alright, let me see. Yep, we can plant now, too. So, just hired up the farmers. So, we're down to 5 laborers, 4 builders, and I'm going to start to do the stone production. So, set up, dressed, stone, production. So the stone cutter is the one that dresses the stone. What I'm going to do here is to set up the stone pit, but not actually build it, or just let it get built slowly. Because what I want to do is I want to put the stone cutter and houses and maybe a separate marketplace up here to support this. As an eventual goal. Oh, and we had a villager die of probably natural causes, so I need to fill the hunter again as well. Justice Dilemma. Okay, yet another choice. We have someone that is being bullied by the others. He's a little off, doesn't fit in, and we either can exile him, where Earp and his family are unhappy with the decision, and some of the villagers are unhappy in turn, or have Earp seek compensation for the wounds inflicted by the commune due to the lack of security, where he becomes disabled and silver is paid out to him. So Earp is one of our builders who's a little mad. No, we're going to pay him for that. So if I found him in the villager population, he probably doesn't work any jobs anymore. What family did he belong? Wolf family, I think? No, he's still working as a builder. I take that back. Here he is. Pole was a bit short. Yeah, I always cut them short. Games like this to keep the flow going, because otherwise you're forced to pause. Spring is coming. As the snow melted, Mother Earth threw off her cover and began to breathe once again. So this is a boon to, or really a reminder that fruits and herbs can be collected and fields can be sown. And this field is nearly fully sown. If I had more silver, I would buy another farmland field, but I don't, sadly. I'm poor. The additional houses are coming in, though. So this is an empty house, ready for people. Meaning that I'm going to nuke this house. And they moved in up there. Missing dagger. Well, we have the missing dagger again. I don't have all 3 choices, though, because I don't have enough silver to investigate at the moment. So I can either blame the person that is accused, execute the person that is accused, or don't do anything. because the theft should be investigated. I don't have the money for. So this is the same exact sort of situation that we saw before. They do fork, and they don't necessarily always end the same. I will note. So last time someone was dancing in the tavern drunk, and the dagger fell out, and he had to pay compensation. But that doesn't necessarily mean every time you investigate the theft, it ends up the same way. Sometimes the dagger's found randomly in a bush. Sometimes it falls out of someone's pocket. Sometimes it was actually stolen and clept and sold, so on and so forth. So do not mess. We are not going to investigate. Which is a good reason to keep, not that I'm doing that right now, but a good reason to keep silver stockpiled in your stocks, because there's a lot of situations where money will fix a problem, and if you don't have the money up front, you lose the option to be able to fix it with an investigation or whatever that you could be able to throw money at. Okay, we have another house that is empty, so let's get rid of this one. Putting in some additional wood storage across from the woodshed and the carpenter because of how useful having proximity production would be. Then also, even though I don't have the full road here, I'm going to put in a small road section just so that I can put in a pillar torch where these houses are. Cheers. Because I intend to build a road there eventually. And housing. Alright, no one stays in that home, so guess what? That one's bombed too. I need a little bit more silver to build the roads that I want, so I'm going to hold off on that. Good amount of total meals. Happy with that. And now that all the houses that I queued up are built, they're starting to put the stone pit together. I also completed the wool production and just got some silver from that. Nice. So the next is the clothing production. Explore the Eternal Hammerer and Weaver in the Tree of Life. I'm not going to do that just yet. I'm still working on the shipyard. Hey, Maylen. How's the game so far? I like it. Otherwise, I'd not be playing it, I think. So, stonecutter. I'll put a stonecutter here. And stone storages here and here. A warehouse up here. And then, once all that gets built, I might even I'll put some dedicated housing up there for the people that work in the pit mine and also the stonecutter. But I might want to put up a marketplace as well, so that they don't have to travel very far to buy their food. Because that is pretty far from the initial marketplace over here. But that's why I wanted the roads and the money for the roads. So let's start putting those roads in. Tree in the middle of the road. That's a problem. This road will also help the gatherers. Because the gatherers' huts are in that cluster forest next to the road. And I'm going to try to keep at least 25 silver in hand so that I can resolve social issues a little bit with more options for the future. So the priority, I think, is going to be to build the stonecutter, because the stonecutter will have an awful commute, but at least we'll have them working, building up a supply of dressed stone. And then after the stonecutter's built, the stone pit could be really last, because we have sources of stone in and around the forest here that we can collect without going to the stone pit, which is the renewable source. So we want to exhaust the surface sources that are close by first. These, you know. But at least put the stone storages in there as well as the warehouse. Actually, I don't think I'm going to need a warehouse. I'm going to get rid of that. I think we only really need the stone storages. Well, the stone storages don't stock dressed stone, so I actually take that back. If you take a look at the warehouses, you can see... Actually, what stocks dressed stone? I'm not even sure. Maybe stone storages do. I'll put the warehouse in there if we end up needing it. I'm not entirely sure what we do. The other thing looks like we are ready to harvest. The other thing I'd like to do is to build a road from this spot here up and around the hill that leads out to the pit, so that it interconnects in one big loop, just to make sure that we avoid the coal mines here. What I could do to make sure that we avoid the coal mines is to actually place the coal mines in and just pause their construction. But that absolutely decimates my silver stocks, but that's okay. This will help me plan, at least. Coal is really nice to have because it allows you to heat your houses. That is, requires a little bit less constant maintenance from the player. You know, the woodcutters means that you have to continually cut down trees over and over and again, and to make sure you have a lot of trees cut down. And when you have a village of like hundreds, not the 62 that I currently have, it becomes a little cumbersome to have to cut hundreds of trees to keep houses warm for every winter, right? Like, as you can imagine, that gets kind of annoying, which is where the coal mines come into play. And plus, in order to be able to smelt iron, you're going to need coal as well. All right, let's harvest. Oh, nice. All the pre-materials are already done with the stonecutter. A few of the boats are getting worn out. They're not terrible, but a little worn out. "12 laborers, 4 builders." Yeah, it seems about right. Let's do 4. No, 3 farmers seem to actually be able to get the job done. Once I have a second farm, I'll definitely add to the farmer pop. And I can always hold left alt just to see employment, because people will die periodically and leave the slots open. Oh, also, storage is full. My main marketplace is completely full of food. So let's add some decorations which will expand upon that. So I'm going to put in 3 barrels. And I believe all the decoration expansion cosmetics add the same amount of storage. It's just cosmetic at that point. So I'm just trying to make it look nice by adding a variety, like, you know, some boxes and buckets. Maybe an empty cart. And a wood cart. Alright, let's see. That brought me from 155 to 190. Yep, we got space now. And it looks more organic and designed. I really like that feature. There's not a lot of games that have a feature quite like that one, and it really sets this game kind of apart, because houses benefit in the same way, where they have their own beauty So, like a tanning rack, built adjacent to a house will make it look nicer. And once I have silver really rolling in, I can start to spruce up the individual burrows that I've got here. Kind of like I did this one. I'm just poor. We're early game and pretty poor. Chaos, thank you for the sub. Welcome. The first time when I taught myself how to play this, I absolutely played dystopian grid-like structures of everything in squares, and I came to the realization that it looks prettier this way, even if it's like less efficient. It's certainly more aesthetically pleasing, and because there's not a huge amount of advantage min-maxing this game, you might as well have it look pretty. At least that's what I decided. What about a scarecrow for the farm? Yeah, that's a really good idea. And put it smack dab in the middle. One thing I am not sure of, I will add, is how effective the decorations are. For the marketplace, it's pretty obvious because it physically adds to the resource limit, so it's measurable. For like the scarecrows and beauty objects of the individual housing, like it's kind of hard to tell, right? Because there's a lot of other things affecting morale of the people that live in there. So just mousing over the morale, going, oh, well, this person has a gate in the front yard, and they are 80% happy, and this person doesn't. They're also 80% happy. It's like, yeah, but like happiness isn't really measured that way, all that perfectly. Because there's a lot of other factors, like, did your relatives recently die? Or, was your house left cold without firewood? Or, those kind of factors that are harder to quantify. Thank you for tuning in to Land of the Vikings, which originally streamed live on Twitch September 12th. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my online gaming community, it also has a link to Discord, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching, and a special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch a next episode or an upcoming stream of another game. Farewell, my fellow Vikings.